Because the video I looked up was like, who are the Black Panthers? Damn it. And I was just going to do a quick history. It was one of these. It was Crash Course. That's what it was. Because I think it was a black dude talking. Yeah. All right.
Hi.
We're gonna educate ourselves using the fine people at Black Panther Party. Not the fine people at Black Panther. The fine people at Crash Course. They did a video on the Black Panther Party, and I am here to react. I'm here to learn. I'm here to grow my mind. I need knowledge. All right. Let me make sure that everything is in the right place as we do this. Yo, what's up, for? I gotta go to sleep for PCC, so I'm gonna dip. Salute, Billy. Go ahead. Let's learn about the Black Panthers.
Hi, I'm Clint Smith, and this is Crash Course Black American History. In the history of the fight for Black liberation, there have been Black political organizations who have been around doing this work for decades. Organizations, for example, like the NAACP and the National Urban League, who were founded in the early 20th century and still exist today. And these groups, which have been in existence for over a century, have helped bring about some incredibly important policy changes when it comes to the civil and political rights of Black Americans, and have also served as platforms from which Black people could make their concerns known to the wider public.
Wait a minute, did that say stamp out Mississippiism? What does that even mean? That's crazy. What is Mississippiism?
Have also served as platforms from which Black people could make their concerns known to the wider public. But sometimes an organization doesn't have to have existed for a long time in order to have a huge impact on the history of this country. An example of that is the Black Panther Party. Founded in 1966 by Huey Newton and Bobby Seale, the Black Panther Party reached its peak just 4 years later in 1970. The organization had an impact on U.S. history and culture that far exceeded its relatively short lifespan and small membership. Let's take a look to understand why.
I forgot how loud their
Let's
little
start with the
jingle
Black
was.
Panther Party's origin story in the thought bubble. Originally known as the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense, the organization started through the campus organizing of Seale and Newton. They met in Oakland, California in 1961, while they were both students at Merritt College. In the tense atmosphere following the 1965 assassination of Malcolm X, Newton, Seale, and other student activists organized the Black History Fact Group. The group was founded in part as a response to the university failing to acknowledge the role of African Americans in settling the American West in the 1800s. Among their goals was to urge the school to offer courses in Black history and to establish a Black Studies department. Newton and Seale also joined the college's sole Students Advisory Council, whose stated goal was to, quote, develop Black student leadership, advocate for a more inclusive curriculum, and to connect the university to the community. But disputes within the group would lead Newton and Seale to eventually resign. But their struggle to continue the work of Black radical political organizing didn't end there. Newton and Seale pivoted their goals. Rather than looking to join another political organization, they decided to form their own. Students of the teachings of Malcolm X, they founded the Black Panther Party for Self-Defense, later known just as the Black Panther Party, in 1966, following the murder of unarmed teenager Matthew Johnson at the hands of San Francisco police. Thanks, Thought Bubble. According to historian Robin C. Spencer, Newton and Seale framed the tenets of their new organization around the belief that Black Americans were living in an internal colony within the larger mother country of the United States. Borrowing from Black nationalists and post-colonial movements of the time, they posited that the relationship between the Black colony and the mother country was, according to Spencer, one of pure exploitation of labor and resources. Therefore, they sought to liberate the Black colony through self-determination as a part of their larger goal to transform America and eventually the rest of the world. This aligned with their larger vision of correcting racial and class inequalities. Seale and Newton were also interested in how Black liberation struggles worldwide were interconnected to the struggles of Black Americans. They were avid readers of Marxist theory and studied anti-colonial.
Karl Marx. Here we go. We're getting into Getting into Marxism.
Movements from around the world. They believed that guerrilla warfare could be an effective strategy for social change, and that small groups of armed people could lead that change. Their politics were also informed by the struggles for self-determination around the world in places like Vietnam, Zimbabwe, then known as Rhodesia, South Africa, and Mozambique. After the Black Panthers were founded, Newton and Seal outlined the group's agenda, philosophical views, and political objectives in their 10-point program. The program's objectives state: 1, we want freedom. We want power to determine the destiny of our Black and oppressed communities. 2, we want full employment for our people. 3, we want an end to the robbery by the capitalists of our Black and oppressed communities.
I don't want to be the guy, but are both number 2 and number 3 kind of like like, all right, let's go back. Hold on.
4, an end.
We want the full employment of our people. So to be employed, you have to work for somebody,
for
right?
Our people. 3.
But then that leads you into the capitalist system. So you're gonna end up being not owned literally, but you're gonna be working for someone else in this capitalist society, right? So you can't put an end to the robbery while also working for the robbers. Like you're basically wanting to be like, you know, a part of the job where the robbery happens. You want to take some of the money, but then you don't want to like go to jail if we get caught. See what I'm saying? But it wasn't. Nobody's perfect on earth. They probably understood that. This was just like there possibly could have been amendments made if the party would have lasted longer, or the leaders stayed like longer instead of, you know, being tragically killed. Just tapping in for a second, but LMAO FBA nigga can't watch a crash course and realize they're wrong. Crazy. People still work under socialism, but also in the meantime of ending capitalism, our people should be fully employed. Okay. So in the full employment, who are we working for at that point? Because niggas ain't just gonna give you a job in the meantime of you, like, that's like me hiring you and then waiting on you, knowing that you're gonna assassinate me. So I'm just waiting on you to kill me is the thing, right? Unless it's just like completely unexpected and they're hiring us with like pure intentions and they're like, oh yeah, hey, great to have you a part of the team, and then we slime them out after that. That's messed up. But have they slimed us before? Damn right. So would it be justified? Yes.
List of our Black and oppressed communities. 4, we want decent housing, fit for the shelter of human beings.
That's 5. That's reasonable.
We want decent education for our people that exposes the true nature of this decadent American society. We want education that teaches us our true history and our role in the present day society. 6, we want completely free healthcare for all Black and oppressed people.
Free healthcare.
7, we want an immediate end to police brutality and murder of Black people, other people of color, and all oppressed people inside the United States.
I like this part. See, because a lot of people recently have been on some like, you know, we're Black Panthers should be for Black people only. When you see here at number 7, we want an immediate end to police brutality and the murder of Black people, other people of color, and all oppressed peoples inside the United States. So that means Black, brown, yellow, red, green, white, polka dot, rainbow, anything in between. And it also means oppressed people. You can be white and be oppressed because of like your sexuality, your disabilities, anything like that. So like this was really forward thinking and very, very thoughtful to include others in this, you know, the fight.
8, we want an immediate end to all wars of aggression. 9,
all wars are pretty much wars of aggression, so just put an end to all wars, I would say, probably. Unless, well, I don't know any wars off the top of my head. I'm not a historian. That's why we're watching the video.
We want freedom for all black and oppressed people now held in U.S. federal, state, county, city, military prisons, and jails. We want
Okay. I really, this part threw me off, but then I read down and
trials by a jury of peers for all persons charged with so-called crimes under the laws of this country.
so we want the freedom of all black people now held in jails, in prisons, because we feel like they weren't justly tried due to race, and we want to give them a chance to be tried in front of people who look like them, type shit.
Peers for all persons charged with so-called crimes under the laws of this country. And 10, we want land, bread, housing, education, clothing, justice, peace, and people's community control of modern technology. After creating this 10-point platform,
That last one,
they
they
decided
threw a lot
on
in
a name,
there.
borrowing from the Lowndes County Freedom Organization in Lowndes County, Alabama, a political group that used the image of the Black Panther in their materials and was led by activists including Stokely Carmichael and John Hewlett. In addition to their 10-point program, the Black Panthers were also actively engaged in their community through a number of social programs that look to pool collective resources and support the black community. This group of programs served as a rallying cry and human rights manifesto, aiming to correct centuries of harm inflicted on all oppressed people. The Black Panthers' vision was at once practical, demanding things like health care and housing, while simultaneously being revolutionary in its scope. Among their most popular programs were the establishment of free health clinics in 13 black communities across the country, and the implementation of free breakfast programs for school children in different parts of the U.S. The free breakfast program that was started by the Black Panthers became an inspiration for the breakfast programs that still exist in schools across the country today. The Black Panthers were also known for carrying unconcealed, loaded weapons and monitoring the activities of local police in black neighborhoods. As they continued to engage in political activism and social change, their popularity grew across the country, especially in urban centers with large minority communities like Los Angeles, New York City, and Philadelphia. Additional chapters were established in places like Chicago, Indianapolis, Detroit, Des Moines, Iowa, Paterson, New Jersey, and Wichita, Kansas. By 1968, approximately 2 years after the Panthers were founded, they had roughly 2,000 members across the country. But the burgeoning political movement that sought to guarantee the rights and freedoms of black people also attracted a fair amount of controversy, especially as it relates to their interactions with the U.S. government and the police. For example, in October of 1967, Newton allegedly killed Oakland police officer John Fry. This followed a period of armed interaction with police officers, since one of the principal tenets of the Black Panthers.
Nah, they was clean though. Like they got it on. It's a uniform, but it's fly. I know that's like besides the point, but like look at these dickheads. Like he got 3 stripes. What are you, like a constable or something? I know he's not a sheriff. What's the commanding officer, I guess? Yeah, sergeant maybe. And then his lackeys right here. Dickhead got his helmet on, like that's gonna do something. And then they sitting there, mad cool, mad calm, on some like, yeah. But today niggas would call, like, if all y'all was to show up dressed together, they would call you names on the timeline to be like, yo, y'all, what is y'all? Y'all a political basketball team? What is this? What y'all freaky? They would have called the Black Panthers gay or BDSM because of wearing black leather and all this shit and berets.
Was the right to self-defense in the face of white supremacist violence. In May of 1967, Newton had sent more than 24 armed Panthers to the California state capitol in Sacramento to protest the passing of a law that would take away their right to openly bear arms. Ronald Reagan was governor of California at the time and vehemently opposed the Panthers.
Niggas hate this guy. One day we might do a deep dive on Ronald Reagan, but a lot, for a good reason. Niggas hate this guy right here. This is like devil, right? You know, like how black people have like a picture. Older generations of black people would have like John F. Kennedy on the wall, and then like our parents would probably have like a picture of Bill Clinton. This nigga would be the opposite.
Who he believed served as a threat to his law and order campaign. The resulting news coverage painted the Panthers as a militant group and the new leaders of the Black Power movement more broadly. By the morning of
Was that Danny Brown?
As a militant group and the new
This nigga look like Danny Brown.
leaders of the Black Power movement more broadly. By the morning of October 28, 1967, Newton estimated that the Oakland police had pulled him over more than 50 times since 1966. That morning, he was pulled over by police, and within minutes, Newton was on the ground with a bullet in his stomach. Officer John Fry was fatally wounded, and another officer was injured. Newton was named as the shooter and handcuffed while still in the hospital. During this period in 1967, while Newton awaited trial and Seal was serving a 6-month sentence as a result of the Black Panthers protest in Sacramento, a member named Eldridge Cleaver, who had joined the group in 1966, took over as the new leader of the Panthers. In 1967, he married fellow Black Panther member Kathleen Neal. Cleaver's critically acclaimed 1968 memoir, Soul on Ice, which told the story of his life and time in prison, sold over 1 million copies within 2 years. Cleaver had studied the work of writers like Thomas Paine, Voltaire, Karl Marx.
Fun fact, my grandfather's name is Thomas Paine, but with a Y.
Richard Wright, all while incarcerated, and this influenced his personal philosophies and political writings. However, there was criticism of Soul on Ice for its depictions of violence and women. Specifically, Cleaver admits in the text to committing serial rape of women, beginning with Black women in poor communities.
Whoa. And I was gonna say maybe I should take a look at this book. Maybe I should read up on Soul on Ice. But yeah, no, not a good guy. Not a good guy.
For practice, before beginning the serial rape of white women. Cleaver's admissions in Soul on.
Wait, hold on. I gotta take this back. What? Wait. What did he just say?
And women. Specifically, Cleaver admits in the text to committing serial rape of women, beginning with Black women in poor communities, for practice before beginning the serial rape of white women. Cleaver's admissions in Soul on Ice point to larger societal and systemic issues of patriarchy and sexism, namely the pervasive.
Why he needed practice though? Why you needed the practice? What? Where he got that? Where in the 10 rules in the 10-point plan? Where did he get that from? What part was like, you know what? Take your dick and force it on somebody else. Right. Why is this what I joined on? Gizzy, I have no clue. I don't know why. Oh man. Wow. I was gonna say, yo, this is like a really clean depiction of like the Black Panthers. Like you could tell like he's like on this, like the other side would say like, yo, you only doing the good stuff. You only doing the highlights. Like play some of the lowlights. Nah, he played the lowlights too, okay?
Disregard
a virgin rapist is crazy. Women.
And these issues, which were present within the Black Panther Party, would serve as an ongoing challenge for the organization as a whole. Additionally, troubles with law enforcement continued to plague the Black Panthers. First, Newton was convicted of voluntary manslaughter in 1968 and sentenced to 2 to 15 years in prison. However, on May 29, 1970, the California Court of Appeals overturned the conviction, and the next few trials ended with deadlocked juries. The Black Panthers he returned to, even after just a few years, had shifted dramatically in some ways from the organization that he founded with Seal. For example, there was now a growing group of white radicals who would join the group's ranks. And under the leadership of Cleaver and others, the rhetoric of self-defense had shifted to include an ideology that embraced revolutionary violence. Additionally, the group faced inner turmoil.
Okay, so he came back to 2 big changes. It's now crackers involved, and it's not we gonna defend ourselves when need be from the police coming into our neighborhoods. Now niggas have shifted to we're going on the attack. We finna start doing some of the stuff that the KKK used to do. We finna start going to niggas' houses. We finna start what Cuz did with the book. We finna start taking it. We finna start taking it from them. It's up. We got guns. We got a group of niggas. We got guns. Let's take it. And that's not what Huey wanted, gang.
1969, Alex Rackley was murdered by other members of the Black Panthers who suspected that he was an informant. Seal and other Panthers faced charges in New Haven, Connecticut for that alleged murder. But it wasn't only internal issues plaguing the organization. External forces also impacted the group, like the assassination of Black Panther Party members Fred Hampton and Mark Clark by the FBI and local police in Chicago in 1969. See, by 1969, the FBI...
Damn, bro, like, look at J. Edgar Hoover was the founder and first director of the FBI. He declared the Panthers a communist organization and an enemy of the United States government. Damn, it's an ugly nigga, boy. And it's an ugly nigga.
Under its first director, J. Edgar Hoover, had declared the Panthers a communist organization and an enemy of the U.S. government. In 1968, Hoover called the Panthers, quote, one of the greatest threats to the nation's internal security. Because of this, the Panthers became the target of the FBI's COINTELPRO, a secret counterintelligence program that used to surveil politically progressive groups. But the organization
I never knew what COINTELPRO meant. It's counterintelligence program. So they did the Kirk genuinely. Hold on. So they did genuinely, low key, and Kirk genuinely counter intelligence program. COINTELPRO.
Program that used to surveil politically progressive groups. But the organization continued to function, with Elaine Brown serving as the chairwoman of the Black Panther Party.
Elaine Brown? Is she still alive today? Hold on. She almost looked like Doja Cat a little bit. Elaine Brown. Another fun fact, that's my mom's middle name, Elaine. And yeah, she's still alive, 82 years of age. Great for her. Oh, she's in Philadelphia, I think. Or, well, born in Philadelphia, maybe? Yeah, born in Philadelphia. Yo, shout out to Elaine. Shout out Big Elaine. Big E. Big E.
From 1974 to 1977. She was the only woman to hold this role and often faced sexism and discrimination for asserting herself and leading the party. Gender roles within the party were often quite restrictive, but women like Brown, Kathleen Cleaver, Assata Shakur, and Erica Huggins held leadership positions within the organization, including as editors of the party's newspaper. Still, COINTELPRO agents managed to infiltrate events and the personal lives of prominent members of the party. In the 1970s, a Senate committee led by Frank Church, a Democrat from Idaho, exposed the FBI and COINTELPRO. As the scholar Peniel E. Joseph has described it, the FBI and COINTELPRO had a, quote, clandestine role in the dismantling of the Black Power.
Hold on. Clandestine. We gotta look it up. So, early guesses for what clandestine means. I'm thinking it's something to do with the Klan, the Ku Klux Klan. Clandestine. Never mind. Kept secret or done secretively, especially because it is illicit. Got it. Word. Chuck, you got it right on the nose. Yo, Chuck low key, like, quiet as kept. Chuck might be like top 3 smartest niggas in the PMU. I'll say it. Low key, Chuck might be top 3.
Our New Left and anti-war movements, and revealed further evidence of the pitfalls of unchecked government power. Under the weight of internal strife and external pressures and surveillance, the organization officially dissolved in 1982. The Black Panther Party helped to bring Black power to national and international prominence and raised important questions about Black people's right to fair treatment, equality, and self-defense. It's not an organization that was perfect, and it shouldn't be overly romanticized in ways that ignore some of its institutional and interpersonal failings.
These leather jackets, gang, like in
ways that
motion,
ignore
they
some of
look
its
crazy
institutional
hard.
and interpersonal failings.
Now I want a leather
At the same
jacket.
time, its legacy shouldn't be minimized or mischaracterized.
But to get a leather jacket, I have to do these steps of learning what the Black Panthers are before I can just wear a leather jacket as a fashion statement. I can't walk around with it on
forms of state-sanctioned
without knowing what's
interference
going on.
it experienced from American intelligence agencies. The Black Panther Party's contribution to the Black freedom struggles of the 1960s and 1970s and today was profound. And that means sitting with all of the complexities that come with it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Crash Course is made with the help of all these nice people, and our animation team is Thawk.
Perfect. Excellent video. W knowledge gained. My mind is so full of knowledge. I know so much now. Man, what an experience to learn about the goings on. Another fun fact. My father and mother also joined the Black Panther chapter that was local here in Tupelo. I want to say this was 2016, 2017 when they did this, somewhere in there. And it was just so random to me and my family, like the rest of my brothers and stuff. Like, we was like, yo, what? When did y'all get, like, what is this? What is this new, like, is this a midlife crisis type thing? Is this, what's happening here? Because niggas ain't never been radical about nothing. The only thing y'all was radical about was getting our ass in the house on time. Like, that's what y'all was radical about. Y'all was radical about cleaning them fucking dishes. Now you Black Panthers. Word, peace. I got it. Okay, Huey P. Newton. Nigga, wasn't you just oppressing me, giving me belt? Nigga, fuck is you talking about? Sometimes you gotta radicalize. Sometimes, man. I guess sometimes, gang.